Texas lawmakers are considering legislation that would require individuals to show proof of citizenship in order for someone to be allowed to register to vote. Senate Bill 16 would amend the Texas election code and require applicants to present documentation like a U.S. passport, birth certificate, or citizenship papers with their application. The legislation reportedly doesn't offer online document submission, but rather in person, over the phone, or through U.S. mail. Critics claim it would keep eligible Texans from voting, while supporters indicate it maintains Texas election integrity. Alex Rosado is with the Alexander Hamilton Society, where he focuses on immigration and free speech. He also manages their foreign policy event programming along with their alumni network. Alex, what are your thoughts on Senate Bill 16 in Texas, where they would require proof of citizenship in order for somebody to register to vote?
Sure. So first off, thank you so much for having me. And the Republican co-sponsor of the bill, Mark LaHood, said that this will preserve the integrity of elections, and I certainly agree with that. According to the Texas Tribune, Texas has over 18 million registered voters, and over the last 3 years, you've seen mass voting purges of non-citizens from voter rolls. And Texas is currently one of 7 states that requires a photo ID to vote. But that doesn't mean that it confirms citizenship status. SB 16 closes that loophole, especially where places where it's much needed.
Alex, you wrote an article for Reason about Mississippi ditching its income tax. Tell us what you found out.
Sure. So they passed a House bill known as House Bill 1, or the Build Up Mississippi Act, which is a major tax reform measure phasing out the state income tax, reducing the rate from the current 4.4% to approximately 3% starting in 2027. And there on out, it decreases the state income tax by 0.3% until the tax is eliminated within about a couple years, till 2037. This bill also includes provisions to reduce the sales tax on groceries, adjust fuel tax allocations, and direct lottery proceeds towards infrastructure and education. It'll be fantastic for the state because studies from nonprofits, think tanks, and educational universities show that high state income taxes lower personal income, stifle business development, and weaken employment rates. Reversing that trend, especially for the poorest state in our union, is going to do wonders not only for attracting outside investment, but also boosting gross state domestic product.
Mississippi make up for that lack of income?
So they do it in multiple ways. They try and boost out, at least with some of the outside investments that are going on. The Mississippi Center for Public Policy said that ever since cutting the income tax in 2022 as part of a broader revolution of reform, it's attracted about $25 million in outside investment.
Department of Homeland Security. How do you see this standoff playing out?
Well, I think it's going to go in one of many ways, but the government is going to win in the end just because they have a lot more resources to deal with. And especially with what Trump's policies are signaling right now, he's signing papers working on withholding federal funding from sanctuary cities like Chicago, in Illinois, as you mentioned beforehand, New York City, Denver, and Boston. So especially if they withhold the funding, they're not going to have the operations necessary to house all of these people. So I think in many ways, the federal government is taking responsible steps to not only preserve the public.
The outspoken senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy, had this to say about politicians and sanctuary cities. Let's take a listen to that.
It's not quantum physics. It's just called obeying the law.
So, Alex, if you can still hear me, elected leaders have sworn to obey the law. What should be done to those that actually interfere?
Well, first off, I'd say public hearings. Hold them accountable, make them try and defend bad policy under oath. Secondly, federal funding. Withhold it from those that don't obey by the law. And truly, if you can't uphold the law within your publicly elected office, you don't deserve to be in power. Campaign primary challengers should leverage campaign advertising to hold them accountable and make them transparent.
All right, Alex, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. Fior.
Thank you for having me.